Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. Let's get right into the stories. The first story is titled, Am I the A-hole for leaving home early after my stepmom cut me out of family pictures? I decided to visit my dad this weekend for New Year's. He was having some of my extended family over and I did not visit during Christmas, so it seemed like a good time to go. A few hours after I arrived, my ex-stepmother dropped by and said she had a gift for me. She handed me an envelope and inside were a bunch of cutout pictures of my face. She had decided to go to my dad's, she has a key still, and get some of the family photos and then cut me out of some of them. I looked at my dad because I had no idea what to say or what was going on, and he just sat there laughing it off. My ex-stepmom then told me that she thought I could use these for my scrapbook. I have not had a scrapbook since I was 12. They didn't really explain anything after that and dropped it. This is not the first time it has happened. There were pictures in the past you could tell I was cropped out when she would edit them before getting them printed. I would remember taking pictures on family vacations, and then when she showed us what she had printed, I wouldn't be in any of them, or just my shoulder or a piece of hair could be seen. I have never said anything when she did this in the past, as it was her camera and she was paying for the print, so I knew I didn't have a say in it and would bring my own camera instead. But by this time, she went through the few family pictures that I'm in from events, vacations, and even the professional ones that she had forced us to go get done and cut me out. They have been divorced for a while and she is engaged currently, so I don't know what sparked this. She also suffers from depression, so I'm not sure if she was having a hard time or something happened that caused this. No one has said much about it. I stayed for a few hours and then called, asked my boyfriend if he could pick me up because I felt weird about the situation. I didn't say goodbye because I didn't want them to ask me to stay or cause a fight, and I really didn't want to talk about it. But now I'm getting texts from my family upset that I shouldn't have left. And I'm overreacting. It's not a big deal because it wasn't all of the pictures, just some of them. And some were duplicates that we didn't use anyway. My dad is upset because my sisters are disappointed they didn't get to see me much before I left. And I didn't say goodbye to them. Am I the a-hole for not staying to see family after my stepmom gave me an envelope full of pieces of my face cut out from family pictures? Comment said, not the a-hole. Why are you calling her your ex-stepmother? If Dad divorced her, why was she there? And why does she still have a key? And why does Dad seem to take her side instead of telling her off? You need to gift Dad a new lock for his door and ask her why is she obviously jealous of the fact that your dad had a kid before being with her. You need to be calm. If she's doing it to piss you off, your anger will make her happy. Dad is the a-hole for not telling her to leave and letting you stay. You need to have a big talk with Dad when that witch isn't around. Another comment said, not the a-hole, wait, they're divorced and she's about to marry another man and your father still refuses to stick up for you against your wicked former stepmother. That's just baffling to me. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not including my grandchildren's stepmother, step-and-a-half siblings in a family book? My youngest daughter died 9 years ago. She left behind a husband, Joe, and 3 children. My granddaughter is now 17 and my grandsons are now 16 and 15. Joe is since remarried to a lovely woman, Marie. Marie has a son and a daughter from a previous marriage, and she and Joe have a 5-year-old together. We get along with Marie and her other children. Though I would not say we are very close, we are definitely not like we were when my daughter was alive. That appears to now be a problem. You see, there is a book, a scrapbook type of book, where we add new members of the family to it, and the children born get little updates about them until they're grown. It was started by my grandmother and continued by my mother and now me. It's not in the best condition, but we cherish it in the family. And those who are gone, when we look back, there's little memories in there to make us smile. I do not have Marie or any of her children in this book, but they are aware of the book's existence from Joe and from my grandchildren. My oldest granddaughter and her wife became parents recently, and the book became a hot topic. Marie was unhappy that my great-grandchild was included, but not her and her kids, because my great-grandchild is not related by blood. Joe told me the kids would love to have their whole family added to it. But then my grandchildren claim something different. It has become such a mess. Joe, Marie, and I eventually sat down to discuss it, and they told me they feel like Marie and the kids should be shown full acceptance as part of the whole family and included. Marie also added that she should be added where Joe is, which is pages joined to my daughters. I said that would never happen. She told me that she and her kids are just as much part of my family. I told her she is not. I made it very clear she will never be my daughter. Joe told me it would set a good example for my grandchildren for them to fully embrace Marie and the children, to drop the need for step, and see that they are all accepted just as much as he and they are. I told him I could not do that. That I love him, that I love my grandchildren, but I do not love Marie or their other children. That I like them and they are good to have around, but it is not the same. They're angry. My grandchildren are upset their dad wanted Marie and the other kids to be in the book. Marie called me a terrible grandmother and person, and that she had told her kids I was grandma, and now I had made their lives so much more terrible. Am I the a-hole? Comment said, not the a-hole. This is a very clear-cut case of not the a-hole. Marie and her children are not related to you by blood. Marie is not married to your son or daughter. Marie is married to your late daughter's widowed husband. Joe only happens to be in the book because he was married to your daughter, who has since died. Joe, too, has no connection to you anymore. Since your daughter is no longer around to have a say, her children need to do that for her. And they have. They don't want Marie and her children in this book. Joe should be happy that you're continuing the tradition for your daughter's children, for his older children whose mother has died. So should Marie. If Joe and Marie care so much, they should have started a new book years ago for their own blended family. But they cannot demand that extended family members do the same. Another comment said, not the a-hole. So your daughter was married to Joe. And after she passed, he married Marie. And now for some reason, Joe and Marie, neither of who are related to you by blood or any family ties except Joe by marriage, want you to add Marie and her children, Joe's stepchildren, and your grandkids' step-siblings into a scrapbook made by your grandmother, no relation to Joe, for your family to capture memories, etc. in? Tell Marie to start her own scrapbook. I would understand asking to be added if Joe was your son, but he's not. He has no right to ask you to do that, in my opinion, and I'm confused on why that's even something they thought would be okay. The next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for kicking out my brother, who our parents have previously disowned because he told my now ex-fiancé that I cheated 9 years ago? For reference, my brother Connor is 19, I am 26, and my now ex-fiancé Hunter is 28. Also for reference, already mentioned in the title, but my brother was kicked out when he was 16 because our parents snooped through his phone and found out he was gay. Connor had a birthday last weekend, so he invited his friends over, and they were all 18 to 20-year-olds, drinking and playing games. Hunter and I were about to head out to let them have the place to themselves when Connor asked if we wanted to join them. I initially refused, a bit too old to be playing drinking games, but he insisted, and Hunter thought it would be fun to act like college students again. We all got pretty drunk, and Connor had the idea of playing Never Have I Ever. A few rounds in the statement, Never Have I Ever Cheated Before, came up. Now's a good time to mention that Hunter is staunchly against cheating. His ex-fiancée cheated on him, and it emotionally wrecked him. And unfortunately, as a lot of dumb, immature 17-year-olds do, I cheated on my boyfriend of 5 months. It was a stupid mistake. He found out and understandably ended things. This was almost a decade ago. I obviously learned my lesson and look back at that time with shame, and obviously never cheated since. Well, my brother knows about this, so when I didn't drink, he went, "Hey sis, what the hell? You know you cheated on insert X's name. You have to drink to that." My boyfriend paused, looked at me, looked at him, and just walked out of the room. I followed him and tried to talk, to tell him it was just a stupid teenage mistake, but he wasn't having any of it, and ended things on the spot. I'm numb. I'm heartbroken. He was my everything and more, and I still don't know how I'm going to move on. Connor tried to apologize, but I feel nothing but sadness and emptiness. This morning I served him an eviction notice. He begged me to stay and said he didn't mean to ruin my relationship, and he just didn't think when he said those words. I just can't look at him right now. He ruined my life. After I raised him and cared for him like he was my own. I feel so hurt. Am I being unreasonable? Comment said, I'm going to have to say everyone sucks here. Why your brother is TA bringing up your regretful teenage mistakes is a huge no-no. I don't know why you would think exclaiming to everyone, hey everyone, my sister is a cheater, was a great move. But I get that it was because he was drunk. Alcohol does make you do stupid things. I can easily see how the lack of judgment caused by inebriation could lead him to thinking that was an acceptable thing to do. Why your fiance is TA, probably the most controversial of them, but I think that your ex-fiance sucks the most. I get being hurt in the past because of cheating. I know that pain all too well, but he's holding a mistake you made when you were a teenager against you. Assuming you're being honest, you never cheated on him, you've never given any indication that you did, and the relationship was otherwise fulfilling. Breaking off an engagement over something you did a decade ago is overkill. Why your TA, you're misdirecting your anger. I get being upset because your fiancé left you, but I think that's more of a fiancé problem than a brother problem. From your story, he wasn't being malicious, and he's obviously remorseful. No great relationship should end that suddenly, and without warning, especially considering it happened a decade ago. I wouldn't let this blimp ruin an otherwise good relationship with your brother. Forgive him. The last story is titled, Am I the A-hole for saying I'll not attend the family Christmas since I can't afford it? My family has always spent the Christmas together at our parents'. Last year was the first year we spent it at my brother's. He's in his 20s and his wife is also in her 20s. Due to it being their first time, they were understandably very stressed and had troubles getting things together, especially taking into account my dietary restrictions. Last year, I didn't live in the same city as them, so I couldn't really help with the preparations, but this year I do. Since I'm a student, the money is tight, but my brother and sister-in-law earn extremely well, even compared to our parents. When we spent Christmas at our parents', we didn't have to contribute financially towards the feast. But this year, the cost is shared by our parents and them. As I can't afford it, my compensation is the organization and cooking the feast, as none of them enjoy such things. This is not a small task, since I'll have to start the preparations days before Christmas and do everything on my own. However, since I'm not the one paying for the meal, I have shared my plans weeks ago with all of them, and they have agreed on the menu. A couple of days ago, I sat down and calculated how much of this would cost and sent the info to my family. This did not go down well with my brother. He is extremely frugal, which is fine and all, but the cost of the feast is the same as it has been every year. Mind you, it's nothing crazy, honestly, but costs more than a regular everyday meal. I said, fine, we can cut something back if he wants, and asked what he wanted to give up. He chose the one thing I wanted to make for myself as a treat, since almost everything else is something I can't eat, but the rest of them can eat all of it. I said, okay, anything else? And he didn't want to give up anything else. I asked him if he was serious that my dish would be the only one we could get rid of and not one of their multiple sides. I don't want to eat only potatoes and salad. His response was that it's all so expensive, and since it's something that most of us wouldn't eat, it didn't make sense to make it. My brother pulled the same move last year, and my mother put her foot down and forced my brother to include me. Since then, he has constantly told us how we are so emotional and stir up unnecessary drama. So to his opinion, I said, that's fine. I'm just not going to attend and spend the Christmas by myself. Since I can't afford to pay for the dish, since I already provide my main dishes, my brother got mad and said that's not what he meant. I replied that this would be the most elegant solution to the problem, since the feast would be cheaper and I wouldn't have to go to work so hard for a meal that I can't eat. And this would have the added bonus of not causing too much drama, since I do so voluntarily. I know I'm probably an asshole just for this. He got super mad at me, while my mother got mad at him and decided to spend the Christmas at my place. Now everyone is mad at everyone, but honestly I'm mainly just sad and feel like I ruined everyone's Christmas. Am I the a-hole? Comment said, "Not the a-hole, and honestly, this whole setup is absurd. You're a student on a tight budget, and your brother's response is, okay, if you can't chip in for the cost of Christmas dinner, you have to cook it for us and watch us enjoy food you can't eat." That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I must say, I'm not that big on hosting, but when I have people over, I've never charged them. If one doesn't want to pay for people's food, the simple solution is to not invite them. Enjoy your Christmas with your mom and food you can eat, secure in the knowledge that your miserable brother was the one who ruined the initial plans, but he may have done you a favor. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll